As you can see, what I need to do is to record a 15-minute screencast video that demonstrates my assigned server. My individual task is to install, test, and configure a cloud-hosted, web-based content management system that allows blogs and news to be posted. I also can add functionality to allow automatic backup of the server database. So what I did first is connected my Linux instance from Windows using PuTTY. So what I did, I downloaded PuTTY on my local computer, my local desktop. Then I converted my private key using PuTTygen after downloading it. Then I connected to the Linux instance. The reason I did this is because I wanted to work on PuTTY, and I used my Elastic IP address to connect it both. Yeah, so after I finally downloaded and completed all the tasks and linked my Linux instance from Windows using PuTTY, as you can see, I typed in sudo update to install every software inside the system. Then I installed sudo apt install Apache 2, as you can see from evidence, as all of these softwares that I'm going to show you now relate to my assignment of building my own web-based content management system. Then I installed sudo apt install MySQL-server, as again previously. This helps me with my table and my databases for my assignment. Same as sudo apt install MySQL client, as you can see. And then I also installed sudo apt install PHP. And I also installed sudo apt, as you can see, all of these commands to help me with my assignment. I'm building my web-based content management system that is going to be WordPress for this assignment. So after I finally downloaded and installed all of these commands, I wanted to go into the MySQL prompt. So I typed sudo mysql -u root -p. Just enter the MySQL prompt. Then I configured the password, a very good password. Then I created the database, WP, create the database. Then I created the user with WP user from the localhost identified by password. Then I granted all privilege to the specific user for the specific localhost to access this. Then I flushed all privileges. Then I exited my SQL prompt for the database. And then specifically, I downloaded WordPress. Then I used the command sudo tar-xvf, the WordPress link, -c/var/ww/html/. The reason I use this command is because I wanted to move from the WordPress directory and move it into the HTML directory so I can access it through the web browser using the IP address. Sorry, the Elastic IP address. As you can see, is evidence of that process happening. And now moving on significantly, after I've finally completed everything, I move on to type in my Elastic IP address. Yep, as you can see, what I just completed, if I go back onto my individual assessment sheet, it shows that I'm meant to be set up in an AWS cloud, virtual machine, and be publicly accessible. As you can see, I'm publicly accessible. As you can see, the posts for evidence I've shown in the live show up. Milestone 3, as you can see, this is a post in the blog for evidence. And also significantly, swiftly go back onto the individual assessment sheet. I also need to, as you can see, I just showed that allows blogs and needs to be posted. We also need to add a functionality to allow automatic backup of the server database. So if I go back onto this, and then go back onto the site, you can see a lot of features. But significantly, if I type it again, go on the dashboard. Yeah, this is where I want to be. And then as you can see, this is my WordPress. After, of course, when I finally when I first typed in the Elastic IP address into the link, I actually created everything with the show up site title with my own password for security reasons, and as this was the security thing. Now on plugins. Moving on towards the plugins. So the first plugin that I installed, which is quite significant, if I go back onto my individual assessment sheet, it was to add functionality to allow automatic backup of the server database. So I installed EZ-SQL Reports shortcode widget and database backup, which is the most significant part. If I view the details, your database can be automatically saved and archived every hour or every day, and backups can be emailed to the address you specify. You can also restore the data to your WP database or an external database, which makes copying a database to another server an easy task. But the main significant reason is that it can be automatically saved every hour. Also, I installed WorldFence Security, as this is just a security feature I wanted to add it inside my own WordPress. If I view the details, not all of these features will be applied due to some of them being in the premium package. For example, the premium package here, premium software here. However, some of them will be employed and implemented into WordPress. As for example, protection from brute force attacks. This is quite significant. I thought I'd add that into my WordPress account. So now let's actually physically demonstrate my plugins. So as you can see, this is the SQL reports. This of course shows this. I can save the reports obviously if I wanted to by date created or alphabetically. I also can display the save reports on the admin menu if I needed to. Here's the significant one relating to my assignment question. So the database backup option. The backup method is auto detect. Save all backups to /var/ww to this specific link. You also can email all backups to my university email address. Automatically make and keep 20. This is why this is related to my assessment question. Automatically backup and keep 20 hourly and 2 daily backups. Of course, as you can see here, the next hourly backup is in 33 minutes from now, and the next daily backup is less than 24 hours from now. Leave the settings here. I'll move it on to WordFence. As you can see, the WordFence dashboard. WordFence protection is activated. Of course, I can't do the premium protection as this is disabled, as I have to upgrade to premium. So what security features is actually implemented into my WordPress site? So if I click on Manage Firewall, as you can see here, brute force protection is 100%. Of course, I've Also done advanced firewall options. So allow listed IP addresses that bypass all rules. For example, the 34.226.3041.66, which is my IPv4 address. I have also immediately blocked IPs, just for example, that access these URLs from this specific link. I ignored IP address for WordPress optimization. I will alert him through the Elastic IP address in here. Yeah, so as you can see, this is the brute force protection I've implemented. It will lock out after how many login failures? I've said 6. Lock out after how many forget password attempts? I've said 6. Count failures over what time period? I've said 10 minutes. Amount of time a user is locked out? I've said 1 hour. Also prevent the use of password leaks and data breaches. This is for admins only. I can also do for all users with publish post capability. But as it's my own WordPress site, I'll click admins only. And yeah, this is the significant security feature I've implemented into my WordPress site. I also can, significantly, if I want to log in security, can access my website through this barcode. Of course, you have to scan the code below with the Authenticator app to add this account. But if I needed to, I can also enter the code from Authenticator app, which is, I can use one of these 5 codes to log in if you lose access to the Authenticator device. It's quite significant as a security feature. And yeah, thank you for listening to my Milestone 3 server build. I hope you enjoy. Finally, WP Fail 2 plan. I have implemented another security feature, as you can see. The reason I've implemented this type of security feature is because WP Fail to Ban is a great feature, as it is an intrusion prevention software framework that protects computer servers from brute force attacks. The functionality of Fail to Ban also operates by monitoring log files for selected entries and running scripts based on them. Most commonly, though, Fail to Ban is used to block selected IP addresses that may belong to hosts that are trying to breach the system's security. It also can ban any host IP addresses that make too many login attempts, or performs any other unwanted action within a time frame. Another great feature of Fail to Ban is that it's typically set up to unban a blocked host within a certain period. Now let's demonstrate this in WordPress. And you see, I do have the standard package, but if realistically I created WordPress, I would use this security implementation of WP Fail to Ban. However, as you can see, the password request, the spam, you've got the authentication also, the pingbacks for login, then you've got syslog, you've got specific commands, then you've got block, as I was discussed before, you can specifically blacklist usernames. Then you have the remote IPs, for example, the trusted IPv4 list. You can implement this also. And you also have plugins: authentication, block, comment, password, rest, spam, XML-RPC, and other. Now, significantly, as discussed before in the video, I touched upon WordPress installation. However, I didn't specifically clarify how I installed WordPress. Well, how I installed WordPress is that I typed in the command wget into PuTTY, and then I copied the WordPress link and typed it in to PuTTY. And then, of course, I moved it into the HTML directory. And I think I've discussed everything in this video for my Milestone 3 build server.